What's up, YouTube? It's your boy King CVB. I hope all is well. I hope you're taking care of yourself. Today, the video topic I'm going to be talking about is the 4 steps that you need to lock in 2024. And I'm going to start based off the most important one and work my way down. And with that being said, let's get into it. So the first step to lock in 2024 is keeping God first. And what I mean by keeping God first is that in everything you do, refer to your religious book in order to be obedient to what God has set out for you to do in this life. You see, without God first, the only thing you're left with is to rely on your own understanding of things, your own efforts and stuff. And many have tried and failed. Many have tried and they're not fulfilled, with the ways of the world and what the world has to offer. And we're all designed this way because spiritually, we have a life waiting for us after this one. And based upon the way that you live your life, it determines whether this is the only life you live or you have something else greater waiting for you after it's all said and done. You see, one thing we share in common is the human body and the human mind. And what we do with those tools that God has designed for us is the driving factor of whether we get close to Him or we perish in the flesh. So as we all know, life is finite. We're only here for a speck of time. And with that being said, what you do when you have this life force in your body spiritually, because it's the spirit that's in the body, it determines whether you have eternal life or you just die. You actually die spiritually as well when you're no longer here. So that's really important to keep in mind. I could go on longer, but that's the most important thing. Keep God first in everything that you do, regardless of what you do for a living. Always consider your spiritual well-being, because when it's all said and done, we can't take these bodies with us, we can't take our mind with us, and we definitely can't take anything in the world with us, whether it's money or anybody else. Whatever it is, we leave it here. So don't abandon your spiritual health, no matter what. Don't abandon it for anything or anybody. So to kind of pivot off that and go into the next one, the next most important thing you do while you're here to lock in for 2024 and the foreseeable future is protecting your mind. Protecting your mind has to be the second most important thing, because in this life, going through life without a sane mind, you can't do anything. It doesn't matter how much wealth you have or assets you have. A sane mind, you can't put a price on it. It's people who are in the world chasing money, chasing instant gratification and stuff like that, and they realize it doesn't matter how much you have in the world. If you feel like you're about to go crazy every second of the day, it's not worth anything. So you can't put a price on it, and your mind is like a vehicle and a tool that God has designed for you to get through life, with an understanding that, hey, I may not be perfect, but I'm going to strive every day to show God the beauty of His creation. So a sane mind is the most important. And moving on, the next most important thing in life is protecting your body, your temple. What you put in your mouth, to what you do to remain disciplined. So you see, taking care of your body is more than just the way you eat. It's also your hygiene. It's also the need of exercise. It's also abiding by God's rule, because God sees when we abuse our bodies. God sees when we don't do what we need to do now, regardless of how we feel, to get what we want later. God sees that. And when you stray away from taking care of your body, it's not anything to be proud of, and it's somewhere that you don't want to unnecessarily stay for long. You know, we all have trials and tribulations, but it doesn't justify not taking care of your spiritual health, your mental health, or your physical health. So you guys notice how I talked about God first, then I talked about the mind, and now I'm currently talking about the body. Take care of your body. There's no excuses, no justification. God is looking down at us at all times. And to close off this video, the fourth most important, and I do mean the fourth most important, because nothing is going to go over God without a sane mind. It doesn't matter. Your body won't do what it needs to do without a sane mind. Without a healthy body, you basically won't live. You'll either be in the hospital, connected to some machine to keep you here, or whatever. So you get the point. And the last and final one, money. I'm sure you guys knew this one was coming. You could probably guess it even before I said something. But money is single-handedly the most sought after tool on this earth. And depending on who you are or where you're from, you have a certain mindset towards it, mindset towards getting it, right? And with that being said, we all know that we instinctually need it. It's just a matter of what are you willing to give up to get it. So you notice how nowadays in the world, people are stooping to new lows. Well, I take that back. There's nothing new under the sun. It's just everything is digital now. So, for example, prostitution. It's always been around, as long as humans have been around, but now it's digital. And with that being said, there's so many other examples I could get into, but you get the point. But people are basically selling their bodies, you know, for profit. People are giving up their health just to make money. People are giving up their mind. They go to jobs and get stressed out all day and stuff. So it's like this world is trying to pull at you spiritually. You notice a pattern here. It's pulling you at you spiritually, mentally, and physically. So with all things considered, it's a matter of the individual to be resilient and strong enough to pick up on the ways of the world and say no. Literally, I'm asking you to refuse. When somebody wants you to do something that spiritually triggers you, say no, turn away from it. Somebody asks you to do something that's not good for your mind and it's gonna make you lose respect for yourself and your well-being upstairs, say no. When somebody asks you to eat food that is unhealthy for you, say no. Don't ever be the person who just wants to go with what the crowd is saying, because nobody can give you the instructions on the way to live your life. So you need to be resilient and say no, because your well-being depends on it, whether spiritually, mentally in the mind, or physically in the body. You have to grow to be the person to be resilient and resist. Now, if you're listening to me right now and you're thinking, man, like, you know, I hear what you're saying, but I messed up. I stumbled before. Brother, we have all stumbled. Sister, we have all stumbled. But it's about stumbling and getting better. You see, we're all born into families and we learn different ways that we live, you know, from birth. We're molded by our environments and whatever our environments bring. If it's scarcity, if it's the lack of, well, that's self-explanatory. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna become whatever your environment is. The same way if you're born into a family that pushes business, entrepreneurship, all of that, you get the point. You become what your environment is, basically. You know, and with that being said, it's been your boy King CVB. Thank you for staying here with me, listening to what I had to say, and I hope that you apply all 4 steps on how to really lock in 2024. With that being said, happy Thanksgiving. Peace out.